Hi, the Wyoming Traveler. In this video, we're going to go down a couple of historic trails. Well, not the whole trail, but a portion of it. This is the Cherokee Trail, and later on, the Overland Stage route. Americans developed many trails across the country, from the Mississippi-Missouri rivers to the West Coast. One of those trails was the Cherokee Overland Trail. Here at the community of Laporte, Colorado, just about 7 miles north of Fort Collins. It was from this point to just below Laramie, Laramie, Wyoming, that the Cherokee Overland Trail ran through some very picturesque country and some very dangerous country. Not so much from Indians, but from outlaws. So let's take a look down the Cherokee Overland Stage route. The Cherokee Overland Trail was two trails that merged into one. The Overland Trail was most famous as a stage route. The Cherokee Trail was developed as a route to the California goldfields in 1849. The Cherokee Trail began in the Cherokee Nation, present-day Oklahoma, which at the time was Indian Territory. A group of settlers from Arkansas formed up a wagon train headed for California. Once arriving at the Cherokee Nation, they were joined by a group of Cherokee. The group consisted of 130 persons and about 40 wagons. From the Cherokee Nation, they proceeded north and connected with the Santa Fe Trail and proceeded west to Bent's Fort. At Bent's Fort, the group turned north along the base of the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains and to an area of Cherry Creek, and then followed the South Platte River to the area near present-day Greeley, Colorado. From there, they traveled west to the Cashlapoudra River to present-day Laporte, Colorado. The following year, 1850, another Cherokee, Arkansas wagon train crossed the Cherry Creek near present-day Denver and traveled northwest to the Laporte area. From Laporte, the trail soon became a wagon road, went north to present-day Colorado-Wyoming border at the site later known as Tie Siding. The trail went west towards the Laramie Plain, past the Medicine Bow Mountains, at Elk Mountain, and on to Fort Bridger, where it joined the California Trail. In 1850 or 54, I found conflicting information. A group of Cherokee, Arkansas travelers split off from the wagon train they were in and blazed a southern branch of the Cherokee Trail. This trail proceeded along the Colorado-Wyoming border and rejoined the original 1849 trail at Fort Bridger. In the first 10 years of its establishment, the Cherokee Trail traffic consisted mostly of settlers headed for California. This changed when the Overland Stage moved their route south. The Overland Stage ran their route along the Immigrant Trail until Indian raids intensified after 1860. Both the Army and the stage company wanted a safer route. The new trail followed the Immigrant Trail to the mouth of the South Platte River. It then followed the South Platte to the area of present-day Greeley, Colorado. From there, the route went west to connect with the Cherokee Trail at Laporte. Highway 287 follows the Cherokee Trail from Laporte to Laramie, Wyoming. We're at the community of Virginia Dell. Virginia Dell is one of the most picturesque, historical, and interesting areas along this section of the trail. To support stage travel, stations were established every 10 to 15 miles apart. These stations were small and served only to change the teams. Large stations, called home stations, were every 20 miles or more apart. These stations provided meals and lodging for the travelers and drivers. Virginia Dell is one of the best known and best preserved of these stations. Established in 1862, the Virginia Dell Station operated until 1867, with the completion of the Union Pacific Railroad to the north of the station at Laramie, Wyoming. The station hosted many famous travelers, writers, politicians, and newspapermen. In 1865, future Vice President Schuyler Colfax, then Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, was detained here by Indian raids. The area around Virginia Dell was often referred to as Robber's Roost because of the infamous reputation of the station manager, Jack Slade. Slade was an excellent stage manager, as long as he stayed sober. Slade's exploits spawned numerous legends, many of them untrue. Stories credit him with outrageous actions, from shooting up a saloon for serving his stage drivers whiskey, or having a fondness for shooting canned goods off grocery store shelves, to robbing the stage of $60,000 in gold, which later disappeared. Slade's most notable exploit, again questionable, was the gruesome killing of a man who had shot him in Julesburg, Colorado. Author Mark Twain met Slade when Slade operated the stage station at Julesburg. Twain was impressed with the man and wrote about him in his book Roughing It. Twain, however, described Slade as a vicious killer of up to 26 victims. What is certain, however, is alcohol was Slade's downfall. He was fired as stage manager at Virginia Dell after a drunken shooting spree at nearby Fort Halleck. He left with his wife for Virginia City, Montana, and lived there for a brief period. After a drunken spree in Virginia City, he was lynched by local vigilantes for disturbing the peace. Talk about hard on crime. True outlaw of the area, however, was Lewis Musgrove. In the early 1860s, Musgrove, after a murderous career in California and Nevada, established a criminal empire along the Overland Trail. His operation extended primarily from Fort Halleck to south of Fort Collins. By 1864, Lewis Musgrave had become the leader of a group of outlaws who stole government livestock, often using violence and murder. The Musgrove Gang, according to the Leadville Daily Herald, was possibly the largest and most desperate lot of men that ever joined together in the West for unlawful purposes. The gang stole cattle from Fort Steele. They returned and stole the cavalry horses. In 1868, near Elk Mountain, a train was attacked by members of the gang, who were described as Indians. The gang often used this disguise with the intention of passing the blame for their crime onto the Indians. During the attack, they killed 4 men, scalping 2 of them. Musgrove was captured and transported to Denver for trial. Fearful that the gang would break him out of jail, a group of vigilantes removed Musgrove from his cell and hung him from a bridge. Today, the places, the people,
and the sights of the Old West have become the subject of legend, fiction, and romance. One of the best works of fiction, I think, of the Cherokee Trail and Virginia Dell is Louis L'Amour's novel, The Cherokee Trail. While fiction, the story gives life to the Cherokee Trail and the Virginia Dell Station.